I don't actually know why I think it's funny, but up until this point in time, I've reviewed what, like 30 truly wireless earphones, and yet this is actually the very first one that is still an Indiegogo campaign, which means if you watch this video and it's still quite new, well, then that also means that this product actually still might need backers. And if you now want to know if you should be one of those, well, then I'd recommend you to watch the video to find out just about that. Because here they are, the EarFun 3 from EarFun, or is it EarFun? Because in German those two dots mean it's an Ü, EarFun. Yeah, highly unlikely though that's the case. But talking about the case, what I like on the back, USB-C. What I like on the front, 4 status LEDs for the charge of the case. What I maybe don't like so much is that the magnets are a little bit weak, even though it doesn't fully open on its own and also doesn't fully close on its own. So hinge could be a little bit stiffer, but that's fine. What's really good is though that we have strong magnets for the earphones themselves, so those definitely won't fall out. They usually always connect without any issues. We have a left and right indicator. I also like the fact that this case is matte, and in terms of size, kind of sits in between. I've seen bigger ones, I've seen smaller ones, so all good here. Now about what's in the box, well, we get the earphones. The typical 3 sizes of tips. Those tips are also pretty normal, I would say. We also get the typically way too short USB-C cable in this case. And talking about those earphones, I have to say, in terms of size, they are, as you can see here, quite massive. They're definitely not super small. I like also the fact that, though, that these have proper buttons, even though you have to press them a little bit too much. And the controls are also, I would say, semi-good. Because, for example, on the right one, a double click is for the voice assistant. But if you want to control the music, a double click for the next track is on the left side, and the triple click is to get back. So if you use them in mono mode, which works on the right side, you're kinda out of luck controlling the music. And well, the same is also the thing for the volume control, because we don't have that. Build quality otherwise is absolutely fine. So I'd like to talk about the comfort now, where I have to say, they are actually quite okay, but they definitely have something that they claim on the side, a very snug fit. Because these, due to its size, and if you have smaller ears like I do, definitely sit very snug. I would say in terms of comfort, it's good. Over a longer period of time, it's just a thing that you can't really completely forget them in your ears, so you will always feel them. But the fit itself is actually very secure, and I would say for like lighter sports activities, these actually work quite good. But about the isolation, I have to say it's pretty extreme, because you feel very sealed off out of the environment. They block out a lot of noises and you feel a little bit claustrophobic, so just keep that in mind. But otherwise, I have to say that it's already fine that they at least support AAC, even though I've noticed that there is still a little bit of an ever so slightly perceivable delay with the video and the audio. It's not a huge thing, it shouldn't be an issue for most people, but for those very sensitive about that, yeah, just keep that in mind. Other than that, the connection was strong, it was fast, it connected, like I said, the mono mode is on the right side. Yeah. Background noise, that's something good, because it's pretty much not a thing at all. I couldn't hear anything. Volume is also good. It's loud enough with actually quite some resorbs for me. And in terms of battery life, I would have to say this. 4.5 to actually closer to 4.5 hours, which is an above average value. Usually most sit around 3 hours. The best ones at around 6. So with 4.5, you're actually on a very good kind of average. Now about the mic. It's on the right side and it doesn't really sound that good. It had some kind of odd distortion going on. It isn't clean, but if I compare this with the other ones that I have here, it's actually not that bad. About the sound, here I have to get into the soundstage and imaging first. Well, claustrophobic due to the isolation, it also feels that in terms of soundstage, because it feels quite small. The imaging isn't all that well, because I'm getting into the sound, it feels quite dull. Everything is kind of mixed in between, and there is not a whole lot of dynamic going on. About the sound signature, well, we get a whole lot of bass, but not a whole lot of highs. The mids are okay. Balance now, well, I would say definitely towards bass. And is it a mainstream sound? Well, not really. I think it's actually even for that over the top, with just too much bass and not enough highs, which leads to one thing. Yes, it is very long-term friendly, because it's not really fatiguing unless a lot of bass might be that for you. I would say this about the bass: it's too heavy, it's too bloaty, it bleeds into the mids, and it's pretty over the top. It's also a little bit more kind of rather boomy than it's punchy. It's kind of a soft bass than a really precise tight one. So just about that. In terms of vocals and the body to it, that is good, but in terms of clarity, not so much. Which brings me to the highs. well, we don't have that much. They are completely overdrowned over the bass that bleeds into the mids, and pretty much since we don't have too much highs, that is just lacking. So I would say that it's nice that we have no sibilance, good, but we also don't have any clarity or airiness or openness, so that's just lacking. And details, well, not a whole lot, because everything just gets drowned out, which means this is also not really an all that good all-rounder. This is good for bass heavy music, even though it's, like I said, not even the most quality bass. It's just a whole lot of thick bass. So for metal, for rock, for pop, it's just not that great. I mean, it works, but don't expect this to be kind of an audiophile thing. So that brings me actually to the alternatives. If you want a lot of bass, but definitely way more balance, something that is also clearer in terms of overall balance, then I would recommend you to maybe check the JLab audio, the JLab buds that I reviewed recently. Cost about the same, and overall, even though they don't quite offer that kind of battery life, I think are the better choice. Some slightly cheaper ones would be, for example, FY2, also way nicer balance from Blitzwolf that I usually already recommended so many times. But at a similar price around these, at around $45 or something like that, you also already get the Sabat E12, which is still my best bang for your buck, because they are a little bit more expensive than the budget ones, but noticeably cheaper than the more expensive ones, and almost offer you the same. Great battery life with over 6 hours and very good comfort, very good sound, and all the people who bought them based on my review so far seem very, very happy, so I guess I can't be wrong at that point. About the pros and cons, well, it's nice to see that we have a good case with USB Type-C, we have a secure fit, we have at least AAC. I would say a clean sound, because there is no kind of distortion going on, there is no kind of hiss or sign of that, but it's, like I said, clean sound is not a clear sound. And then we have good battery life. About the not that good stuff, well, way too bass heavy and way too weak in terms of highs. They're also quite big, so especially people with smaller ears or people who don't really want to feel them all the time in their ears, maybe not the first choice. Also the controls with the odd scheme, because usually always the right side is for the next track, here both on the left side. It's a little bit odd, especially since the master is right, which then makes even less sense. And then, well, it's still an Indiegogo campaign, so it means it has to get enough backers. And, well, that just brings me to the conclusion. Should you back them? Well, the thing is, you have to back them at around $40 as a super early bird and $50 for an early bird. But I don't get quite the point, because you already at this point in time can buy anywhere cheaper ones or at a similar price ones that are better, or at least noticeably offer better value. So that's why I kind of have a hard time. So for who would it be? I would say for bass heads who definitely just need the kind of USB-C case. But otherwise, for who it's not, anyone who wants a nice balanced overall sound and who wants it now. Because, I mean, I don't see the point of having to back something that's not even available yet. You will have to wait like until June. Why? You can get cheaper stuff that's just as good, actually better, because these are just way too overbloaty. And I mean, I would say that they respond okay to equalizing, but you need a lot of equalizing to get them halfway decent in an acceptable mainstream even way. And well, if you pay about the same, Sabat E12, I can't say anything else. So yeah, I'm not that happy. I would say these are on the lesser recommendable side, if you get what I mean. Okay, until next time, bye. But in case you want to check them, the links are in the description. No, bye.